All In Sports Network. We love sports.
Home to the greatest spectacle in racing. This is All Indiana Sports presented by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. You could look at this a few different ways. The Pacers let it slip away. Thunder chipped away the comeback. Or that could have an impact. Let's discuss as we go all in.
I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam. We're the Unstable Blues. Happy to present All Indiana Sports as part of the All In Sports and Rogue Media Sports Networks.
Yep. Not sure if we have a ton to talk about today.
I mean,
The
there was
Thunder
some
played,
good stuff, but it
the
just
Thunder
kept
played
getting
well.
interrupted.
The Thunder played really well.
Did they? I mean, they kept up.
They kept up with us. The fouls kind of let them have the game
Really?
towards the end.
You think so?
I do. Yes, the percentages weren't all there. For Indiana was only shooting 30% from three.
But the Thunder
only shot 17%.
17% from three.
The percentages weren't there, but it felt like Indiana was making the most of their percentages just from field goal percent. The free throw percent was terrible for Indiana, 75%. You look at a high school game, ooh, that's good, but this is the NBA, not that. Their role players didn't seem to do as much as ours, but their stars were doing more than our stars were. Siakam doing normal Siakam stuff. Toppin doing Toppin stuff. McConnell doing McConnell stuff. But the guy who has been there wasn't there. Mathurin, he missed three big free throws. Yes, the score is 111 to 104, but you need that. That gets you to 107. Kind of keeps you in. More people are like, oh yeah, go, you're good. But I'm going to highlight this because I talk about it all the time. The formula to success for the Pacers. Hit 110, Hallie double-double. He was aggressive in the fourth quarter, should have been aggressive earlier. I said so myself multiple times during the game. 7 assists, not quite a double-double out of him, and they didn't hit 110. So this is you leave it for a defensive game. The better defensive team is going to win it, and that's what happened. Siakam played a really good game today. 20 points, consistent 20 for him. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, maybe 6. I don't know exactly where that is, but it was tough because the Pacers had it. They had it
right there.
And then it just seemed some untimely calls, shut down momentum, let the people get rest. And so
I don't know I don't know what else the Pacers could have or needed to really do other than the formula, of course. They had 5 players in double figures, 3 other players with 8. Toppin had a breakout game with 17, major momentum swings from him. Hit 2 threes in a row after passing on one, 2 putback dunks, and another one fast break off of a turnover. There were so many things that went right. And I hate to, I don't like to be the guy that says it all came down to. But there were so many plays, not just in the fourth quarter. It came to a head in the fourth quarter when they were spending a lot of time at the line because they needed to, because they know that they can't keep up with the pace.
They were tired. Everybody was tired. You could visibly see it.
There were so many times that there would be a very similar play on one end of the floor that was not called for the Pacers, that an eerily similar play would happen very close to the same timing on the other side
possession
that was called for the Thunder. And it is very difficult to imagine that the Pacers would not have won this game had it not been for that, because much of the tempo, much of the turnovers, much of the free throw percentage up until the fourth quarter, they were in control of. So that is why I hate to be the guy to bring up and say, because there are always ways out. There are always ways to say, well, if we'd done this or you done this, then it would have changed. It's so difficult to swallow because it didn't seem that there were many other things that were that much different that were in the Thunder's favor over the Pacers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I honestly don't have much else to talk about.
Okay, before we jump into our moment and player, moving forward then now that each of the home stretches here of 2 games have now been split, the Thunder now are back in control of the home court advantage. Do you have any new insights into, other than the formula, to how to attack this from a Pacers perspective?
While yes, I believe the calls shouldn't have been called and they were a little stupid, but that's all lazy defense. Because yes, you're okay switching Nesmith and Nembhard from J-Dub and SJ, but J-Dub is more of a physical player. He doesn't get as many of the fouls, even though he was today. And
Nembhard was doing amazing.
Nembhard was playing phenomenal defense, so they got those switches. Nesmith had 5 fouls at some point, so you were able to switch on to him and stuff like that. But people were just playing lazy. And I just want to point this out, that normally whenever you're about to foul, they tend to be a little lenient on your fouls. Like if there's 2 people there, they're not going to give it to the guy who's going to foul out. They'll give it to the guy who has 1 or 2 fouls or like 2 or 3 fouls to give. So that's normally how they do it, because they don't want to, let people. But the foul that they fouled Nesmith out on was so stupid. He's here. Nesmith has his hand on him like normal. That's how you play defense.
Yep.
He's here, and SJ feels it and goes up and exaggerates that elbow and shoots. And he starts smiling afterwards because he knows what he just did. He fouled out one of their best defenders on something really stupid. And so the first 3 games, we didn't see SGA at the line a ton. But this fourth quarter in particular, media I've seen already is like, oh, SGA went off in the fourth quarter. How many of those points were from the free throw line?
Almost all of them.
So SGA back at his home. SGA back at his home on the free throw line. And considering the reffing crew tonight, I wasn't surprised by it, sadly.
Yeah. Hard to say that the OKC is an NBA darling syndrome at this point. What do the Pacers have to do? This was their best opportunity, as I've talked about. They got to keep pressure. Got to keep pressure on.
You cannot be lazy.
I want to. We've pointed out offline how good of a job that the defense has been on SGA up until maybe the last few minutes of this fourth quarter, which may be an assist from the refs. But how tough they are playing him on the ball, on the drive, and then he gets in the lane and they'll just totally back off, let him go so as not to foul him, not to have him draw the foul, frustrating him up until that point, allowing him to feel like there might be contact and then hopefully an off-balance shot, things like that. So credit to the defense up until till this point, you got to find a way to keep Nimhart on. You got to, whether it's a switch back, you got to find a way to keep Nimhart on SGA. He's just been done such a phenomenal job. You can't say lockdown because you're not going to have that because SGA is just that good at the fadeaway shot and getting to his spots. But Nimhart's been an animal against SGA on defense. You got to find a way to keep that up. And other than that, play exactly how you still have in the past 2 games total.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There's no other way to do it. There's no other recipe. There's no other magic powder. That's how it's got to go down.
Yeah.
With all that said, what was your game-changing moment of the game?
When you talk about fouls, I think it's going to be a foul call. Yes, the flagrant was tough. I don't think that was a changing moment because you kind of got the flagrant back.
Yep.
Both missed a free throw as well at the flagrant free throw line. So, like, literally.
Complete wash.
Exactly. I think it is the Nesmith foul out that I talked about because that was a stupid way to get him out of the game. And like I said, you're normally lenient, and they did the exact opposite and weren't lenient. They said, no, you can't be touching him, basically. You touch him on a shot, that's illegal. So, yeah, that was just a really, because then you lost one of your defenders. You have to have Mathurin come in, who Nesmith has been really good at clutch free throws, and Mathurin's been really good at the line, but misses 3 uncharacteristically. But that doesn't happen if Nesmith doesn't foul out.
Yeah, I'm going to point to a little bit earlier. There was a drive that SGA had, ran into Mathurin, just a little bump, and did a fadeaway. They didn't count the bucket, but they counted the foul. To me, that set the tone for what was to come. And mind you, we are not alone. Like, this is we try to do our best to come at this unbiased, to a certain extent, knowing that this is for the Pacers. But there were numerous times throughout the game where the announcing team from the normally against the Pacers ESPN were saying that should not have been a foul, or against the Pacers, or should be a foul for the Pacers. So to say that we are biased, we're coming at this from an angle, we're simply observing and reporting just the same as the unbiased
and
crew was.
We are not alone, as in we're not the only fan base that went through this. The Wolves went through this. Everybody that the Thunder have played has gone through this.
Yep. Needless to say, disappointing, because I've hyped this series as welcome back basketball, and then this just leaves a bad taste in the mouth, not just for the Pacers, but for basketball. Let them play. It's playoff basketball. It's going to be tough, and you got to fight through some stuff to get there.
Yeah.
With that said, who is your player of the game?
I always give one for the Pacers, regardless if they win or not. I'm gonna say the player of the game. Yes, the end of the game showed SGA, but I think in all reality it's J-Dub, because he was the one who kept them in whenever they had to sub SGA out earlier in the game and stuff like that. Another close one could be Caruso, but I think J-Dub gets it for the Pacers. Toppin had a really big game, but I think it's Siakam, because Siakam has been a steady person. So I think it's Siakam.
I am going to stick with Obi Toppin.
Okay.
He had a game. He had a breakout. He had so many changing moments. To give it to SGA would be to give it to the referees, and I just can't do that. I'm sorry. There's no player on the Thunder that deserves to be a player of the game when you got help, and that's it.
Yep.
So the player of the game was Obi Toppin. So many 17 points, but it seemed like every one of those 17 points came at a critical moment, a critical juncture to change the game and flip it on its head. That's it. No surprise that the past 2 times this has been a player for me off the bench.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Tough one, but you know what? It's all the time that we take. Back probably on Sunday with our recap of the Fever hosting a rematch of the controversial 2-point loss to the undefeated defending champion New York Liberty, coming in to Indianapolis on Saturday. Then check out your mom's take on some roster changes with Caitlin Clark coming back. We will return with Game 5 looming in OKC on Monday.
Yep. Well, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you to stay all Indiana.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.